Hello, everybody, and welcome to our holiday series, Little Self-Care Moments, which is perfect for you to listen to and be a part of, especially during the holiday season when things are so busy and they feel a little bit heavier than normal. For those of you who don't know us, we are Little Words Chief Wellness Officers, and we want you to think of us as your guides to help you find your own kind of wellness in your mind, body, and spirit. We're going to be with you every step of the way, helping you bring your little words into action into your everyday life. So before we get into today's topic for our series, we want to invite you to join us on this incredible online workshop happening on December 28th. So pull up your phone, mark your calendars, 7 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to create powerful intentions for the year ahead. More details to come, but for now, mark your calendar because you're not going to want to miss this. So before we get it started, my name is Stephanie, and today we are going to be talking about boundaries and feeling empowered with both our time and our schedule during the holiday season. Kitty, tell us more about it.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Kitty. And as Steph mentioned, today we are talking boundaries. So first, we wanted to just define what boundaries even are, because this word is thrown around a lot. It's a very important word, but let's get clear on what it actually means and how we can place healthy boundaries in our life. So the definition that we'll be sharing today is a definition by Terry Cole. She is a psychotherapist, and she is an expert in relationships and in boundaries. She defines boundaries as knowing what your preferences, desires, and deal breakers are, and having the capacity to communicate them clearly, concisely, transparently, if you so choose in any and all relationships. So the way that we're going to go through today's segment is in 4 different sections that break down this definition and gives you actionable steps to put into practice and use this definition. So first is knowing what your preferences are, right? Take yourself for a moment to January 2024, a little bit of going into the future, or if you're watching this after January 2024, take yourself into the future of that date. And think back on the holiday season, and how you want to experience it, right? How would you have preferred to spend those days? Maybe it was prioritizing time with your family, or maybe this year, rather than spending New Year's with your family like you do every year, you actually want to spend New Year's with your friends, right? Or maybe you want to spend it on your own. Take a moment to just get clear on how you want to spend your time. Second section, Stephanie, take us through it.
So in the definition of boundaries, Terry mentions knowing your preferences and your desires. So Kitty talked about preferences. Let's talk about desires. Desires is anything that you wish to happen, right? So some helpful prompts to help you get clear on your desires for the holiday season are, and we should have mentioned, pull out your journal, take some notes, because you may want to come back to this later. So getting clear on your desires sounds like, what is my intention during the holiday season, right? During the first week of this whole holiday season and little self-care moments, we talked about setting your intention. So maybe go back to video 1 and take a look at what are my intentions. How do I want to celebrate, right? Maybe I want to be alone. Maybe I want to clear my home. Maybe I want to be with people. Do I want to be really decadent, right? Maybe with the foods that I'm eating, or do I want to be more mindful of what I'm eating? Do I want to be alone? Do I want to be with family? So getting clear on what are my desires? Sometimes we get peer pressure from our families or friends to want to do all the things that may not want to be how you want to spend your holiday season. Now, for the third section, Kitty's going to walk us through our limits and deal breakers.
So within the limits and deal breakers, these are really as simple as what you're willing and not willing to do, right? So for this, we wanted to focus on time, since many of us can feel a little bit more overwhelmed with our time during this time of year because there's just more going on. So we want to share with you a few prompts to get you clear on what your limits and what your deal breakers are. So when it comes to scheduling and how you want to spend your time, how do you want to spend your time outside of the home, and at what time do you want to get home, right? So you're going to have some parties to go to, you're going to have some events. At what time do you want to finish up those events and be home, right? So also, how many social events do you even want to go to? How many do you want to participate in a given week? What does your work schedule look like? When are you going to take time off? We know that we just shared a lot, right? So like Steph said, get that journal out, take some time to even pause this video and start to write down some of these answers so that you can see them on paper. And Steph is going to walk us through the fourth section, which is getting clear on how to finally communicate everything that we've gone through up until now.
This is so good because I feel like sometimes we are really clear on our preferences, our desires, like what we want to do. And then when it comes to communicating it with our
And
friends
then
and
it's
our
like, how
family,
do we say it?
uh, and then it's like, forget it. I'll just go to the thing because it's easier than having to like have to communicate. So for this final section, let's get clear on how do we communicate our boundaries, our limits, our deal breakers in a way that feels like authentic to who we are. This is so fun, and you definitely want to write this down. So the first one, it's called the yes and limit, right? So this is for the things and the people where you want to say yes to it, but there's a limit, right? So for me, when people invite me to go to places, I'm like, yes, I will go, but I want to be home by 7 o'clock if I want to put Dylan Joy to bed, right? Or I need to be home by a certain time if I want to then want to hang out with my husband, or I don't have to have any reason. I just want to be home at a certain time, right? So it's yes and limit. So that sounds like, sure, I can come over tomorrow, but I need to leave by 10 p.m., right? The second one is no, but you have an offer. So this is when it's like, no, I cannot go to Friendsgiving, but I love to go to the movies with you, right? So it's like, no, I cannot attend to this thing, but I want to offer an alternative. And this one, it's like a nice landing, right? Like I can't make it to your Friendsgiving, but let's go have brunch together on Sunday, right? And then the third one is called the pause, right? And this one is when you're just not sure. Like you want to check your calendar, you want to check with your partner, you want to check with how you're feeling about it. Maybe you have, 5 other things going on that week and you're just not sure. So that's when you're just like, you know what? Let me think about it and I'll get back to you. Make sure with this one, though, that you actually get back to that person, right? You're not just leave that person hanging because maybe they want to make plans with somebody else, or it's always nice to actually, tie and circle back in whatever promise you tell somebody. I'll text you by the end of the week and confirm. So, yes, and limit, no, and offer, or the pause. Keep those three in mind. You want to communicate those healthy boundaries.
Yes. And we know that communicating boundaries can be difficult, right? We've been talking about boundaries throughout little self-care moments. We know that can be hard. Like everything that we've shared with you, it's all about practice. None of it is about being perfect. But when you do share these boundaries, we want to just remind you back of some of the tools that you can do to take care of yourself. So remember the EFT tapping that we shared in that week 1 video, tapping on the edges of your fingers and saying, peace is within me. If you can't remember that it's pieces within me, you can just say whatever feels good for you, right? Say whatever feels good in that moment, right? So take a moment for this time to get clear on how you want to spend your time, what your limits and deal breakers are, and communicate those to the people who you want if you so choose. We wish you the best of luck with all of this. We hope that this resonated with you. We'd love to hear how it did. Share in the comments, and we will see you next week for little self-care moments. We'll be talking about mindful movement and coming back to our bodies in this time of year. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.